clearly, this is a woman who is a fighter. You see what her father developed after losing his son? Sounds like he basically created that show, even though there was a show of that format in the UK, and then Fox created an American version, and he slid into being the host, but he was kind of already on that track. America's Most Wanted, who killed his son. But this is clearly a woman. It seems that they're definitely at odds, whatever reason. Didn't get into that with her this time. If there's another opportunity for it, perhaps I will. But clearly this woman is a warrior. She blew my mind. I had no idea that her personal children had been taken from her. Now, over a year ago, I was in Texas. I ordered an Uber from the airport to the location I was going to, downtown. And the driver was interested in the work that I was doing. Again, I started the show, the podcast, Discussions of Truth. Incepted, was established formally in 2016. Did my first show the first couple days of January of 2017. Miriam Henning was the first guest on the show. People like Dr. Tenpenny, Judy Mikovits, followed within the first year. They were some of my early guests. This was all a result of the Zika virus happening in Miami Beach. That's why I do the show. Someone asked me to do the podcast. Okay? This isn't me saying, oh, you know what? I want to start a podcast show. No. No. I was doing completely other things with my time. Someone asked me because of the research that I did behind the Zika virus. Her name was Kitty. She was one of the managers of Wynwood Radio. She asked me to come into the studio and talk about the research that I was doing behind the Zika virus. And then I started talking about vaccine mandates. This is, again, back in 2017. 2016 was doing the research, was making these connections. I have concentrated and given everything I've got to the podcast because of the information. The information must get out there. You now look at right-wing TV, if you will, mainstream conservatism, so-called Fox News, and you look at Tucker Carlson being released from his position, which is kind of mind-boggling, because if you go back 2 years ago, year and a half ago, he was the biggest name in the conservative movement. He was let go. Because why? Because he was digging too deep, evidently. What I'm getting at is war machines that have been around for centuries, that predate the existence of the United States, because these war machines do still exist. And they want to take down America. Make no mistake about it. America has a massive military. Really, nobody's wanting to confront it. I wouldn't either. Don't blame them. But outside of that military, this country would be squashed and overrun. It's become weak. It's become weak because it's not united. It's becoming divided. And I completely and fully support what Megan just said. Look, the wise war machine, if you will, knows that if it can divide, it can conquer. And that is why mainstream media, Ray McGovern, that is why mainstream media in the United States divides. It politically enforces that division in America. It wants to pit you against your neighbor. The mainstream media. Sure, it makes them a ton of money. But ultimately, if you follow the money, it's being controlled by what's so-called the deep state. Deep state has a global agenda. Read my article, iantrottier.com. Let's see, what do I call it? It's the title of the article is, read this up to you right now. Okay, national suicide is one you should be reading. But central bank, a global communist conspiracy. I don't say theory. I clearly write conspiracy, no theory in that. So please read some of this information that I've written for you, that I've collected, that I've spent 6+ years organizing and writing for you. Your country needs you. And to enforce what Megan just said, the country needs you united. So unite under the fact that you want your kids to be safe. You want your kids to live a healthy, productive, safe life. Agree to disagree if you must, America. All right, so we thank Megan Wallace for joining the show. Please and get involved if that's something that resonates with you and that's something you feel that you can contribute to. Please support her and get involved with her. Like I said, I was invited. Even the book that I wrote, Federal Freedom Reserve, No More Lies. Someone asked me to write that. Former guest on my show, he's been on my show a few times, Mark Shaw, lawyer out of California. He asked me, suggested, he recommended that I write the book, and I did. So waiting for trying day to publish that. I've got the agreement standing by. Just had somebody, thanks to a close friend, just had somebody pre-order that today. Had somebody 2 days ago wanting a copy of it, signed copy of it. Old news is new news, right? In that regard. That's why these mechanics are attacking our history, taking down our statues, because the more they can wipe out your ability to understand from the past and learn from the past, better off they are with their narrative, which again is to conquer, to divide America and conquer it. So, folks, the Trottier trucker hat, if you DM me, they're available for purchase on my website. But if you DM me on Instagram, I can ship it to a neutral FedEx location. I don't need your address per se. I don't want your address. I don't care where you live. Okay, but I want people out there that support what I'm doing to have a bit of me and who I am, right? And me and who I am is disclosing and educating folks on what the deep state is, right? And I get into the economic, financial mechanics of the workings behind the deep state. And it's a very real thing. It's a very, very, very real thing. I don't get into religion. And I really haven't spent a whole lot of time on the child trafficking thing, but I want people, I hand stitch these patches onto the hats. So if you DM me on Instagram, I'll send you an autographed hat. And I'll tell you what, man, these autographed hats, these are taking off. People love them. They want them autographed. They want me to autograph the hats. Yeah, I don't know why. They want me to autograph the hats. So I'm happy to autograph the hat for anyone. Just DM me on Instagram. Deepstate.movie. That'll take you to a landing page on my website that directs you to an interview I had with Jordan Maxwell. Rest in peace. Jordan passed away last year. But Jordan Maxwell has been talking about the corruption in Hollywood and the deep state mechanics behind the United States government he was speaking about it for decades. I was fortunate enough to interview him January 2nd, 2020 from a location in Canada. So please check out that interview. And happy 4th of July. Mind you, the United States does not have a financial independence. It has a military and geographic independence, but with a $30 trillion and rapidly counting federal debt, the United States federal government is enslaved. It itself is a slave. It's an economic slave to the central banking system, which roots out of Switzerland. So very important to know as you celebrate this country's independence. It's only a partial independence. It's only a independence defined. It's not a complete independence. It is subservient to basically the Swiss banks, but a closer link would be the City of London. And this is all, you just have to do the research, but you find out that it's a fact. It's all factual. No theories here, folks. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I have spent years creating a library of research books. These are all available through WorldCat and archive.org without fee most times. Just you can access them. But I've compiled a library, if you will, on my website of all these links to these books. Primarily, most of the collection I could find on Anthony Sutton, talking about the corruption behind the Federal Reserve Bank. Please go to that research section. I don't charge for it. So this was a tough episode, ladies and gentlemen, only because I know the work that Megan does is coming from a position of a mother, very, very difficult. I can't even begin to imagine the pain, the frustration, the anger, whatever, all of these different feelings that she's experiencing. I can't even begin. And she was born into a very difficult situation. She's lived her entire life knowing that she was living without a brother that she could have been enjoying, that her parents had lost their child. The movie seen yesterday, Sound of Freedom, the Tim Ballard story, or the Buchanan, I think the case was Buchanan, is what Megan referred to it as. Maybe I've got that wrong. Homeland Security. That is a very difficult movie to watch because I can't fathom that happening. So I thank Megan for doing the work that she does, and I think anyone else out there fighting for the freedom of these children. If you go to, I think it's Angel, it might be angel.com, but it's definitely, the production company is called Angel. If you Google that, what they're offering you is a chance, of course, to purchase tickets for your friends and family online. Very easy. Just show up to the theater with a barcode is what happened yesterday. Paying forward that information. I have not met Tim Ballard. I don't know Jim Caviezel. I don't know any of these people that are involved. Mira Sorvino. I don't know any of these people that are involved. But my understanding is that that was an incredibly difficult process to get that movie to the big screen. Very difficult. A lot of road hurdles for those folks, as I'm sure Megan is reeling with in her day-to-day. So the woman that I'd met in Texas had lost her children to this child protection services. There's something very, very wrong going on in America. And a lot of people align it to what happened, what's happening, or what happened in Nazi Germany. I mean, again, I'm going to state, I can't imagine having that happen to me and my family. Okay? If I had children. I don't have children. I may at one point, I don't know. But there would be hell to pay, ladies and gentlemen, if that ever happened to one of my kids. As I suspect is the exact life and existence that Megan is experiencing in hers. And the countless other people that have brought children into the world, into their lives, and it has happened to them. So unite for the kids, if nothing else. This has been a little sobering and sombering, and I appreciate you listening. This has been yet another edition of Discussions of Truth. And by the way, I've got some great shirts being made up. I thank you for your support. Please pass the episode forward. And remember, when Independence Day rolls around next year, if you experience it, every day is a gift, that this beautiful, wonderful country that we love, at least I love, is only independent based on the geographic definition. It is not financially independent. It is in a massive debt, folks. It's struggling to breathe. So write your congressperson now. Until next time, until next week, thanks for listening again. And this is Ian Trottier for Discussions of Truth. Be awesome. Of God, i.e. a papal bull, then you can basically control his entire life and lifestyle and belief system. That's why I apply the term conspiracy theology. Me, myself, religion's a good thing, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of very good things that religion provides. Religion as an organized religion. I tend to be a little more spiritual and don't define things. I've been open to them, but my greatest connection to the planet and to this life is through allowing men to define their existence by their own means. Hence, the U.S. Constitution element that calls for freedom of religion. And as Josh Yoder said to me in San Antonio, I think it was, about a year and a half ago, as I was explaining to him how the city of London, primarily controlled by the Rothschild dynasty, how the city of London is not part of the United Kingdom, how it's independent, it's a sovereign nation. It finances the monarchy. The monarchy must ask permission to enter London, the city of London, that is. The Lord Mayor is therefore a more powerful seat than is the king or queen. It's the bank that finances the monarchy. And that's how that operates. And Switzerland basically regulates that bank. The Knights Templar, ladies and gentlemen. Conspiracy theology. And by the way, if you're Jewish, you need to pass this message forward. Because Jews are the primary enemy of this deep state. Okay. Anyway, so Jeff Richfield, bring him back on, I suspect. Lots of things working in the background with Discussions of Truth. I appreciate your time and you listening. Let me also shout out My Pillow and the work that Mike Lindell, he's been doing to expose the voter fraud in America. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's eye-opening. Just how many Americans are so complacent. They're so comfortable. You know, they have their nice house. Maybe they have 2-3 houses. You know, they've got their house on one state, and they got another house in another state, and they got 5 rental properties. Or maybe they got 5 cars, 4 cars, whatever it may be. It's eye-opening to me how many Americans are so complacent and comfortable and ignorant to the fact that their country is being systematically destroyed. And that destruction is coming at the hands of voter fraud. Boat Scam, a book by the Collier brothers, written in Florida, Miami, that exposes decades of presidential voter fraud. And that makes good sense, right? How the Bushes got in there. Skull and bones, ladies and gentlemen. John Kerry, skull and bones. Okay, British East Indies Company. The Rothschild basically control the central bank of the United States. That's how powerful these people are. That is how powerful they are, because they control the monarchy of the United Kingdom. And J.P. Morgan's early partner was a Rothschild broker. Do your history. One of the reasons they want to destroy the history so that you can't look at it and study it and say, well, wait a second, this isn't about left or right politically. This is about the Constitution. This is about my basic freedoms that are being destroyed. This is about being censored on Twitter, on Facebook. Right? This is about somebody in the news, be it in Hollywood, having to stand up and take sides for themselves, like Mel Gibson. Right? This is about Sound of Freedom, having to crowdfund to be able to distribute through theaters. And now theaters saying, oh, we got to go out of business, or we got to close, we have air conditioning problems, so we can't show Sound of Freedom. Right? This is about, is it Mike Rothschild and Abby, what's her name, CNN host? This is about these people saying, oh, this is conspiracy theory, this is QAnon stuff. Child trafficking doesn't exist. Wait, what? Child trafficking is like one of the largest slavery, I believe it is the largest slavery industry of modern day. Okay, and we got these brainwashed people in California that say, oh, my ancestor 5 generations back was a slave, so I deserve $5 million to live off of. I mean, this is ludicrous. When you got, even though he's very liberal politically, you got a guy like LeBron James that committed himself to a talent, and he's become, I think he's a billionaire now. Or you got Oprah Winfrey that's basically done the same thing. You got plenty, Denzel Washington, you got plenty of people of, if you will, color, Ice Cube, that have worked their butts off and are multimillionaires. Yet these folks in San Francisco and Oakland think that the government should be writing them a check for $5 million because, oh, they've had to struggle through life so hard because 5 generations back, their ancestors were plowing fields with a mule or whatever it may have been. And as a white man, I don't see anybody giving me $5 million because I work my butt off painting and staining and remodeling and doing all of the driving Uber and Lyft or what it may be to hustle. Saying, oh, we feel sorry for you, buddy. Here, let me give you a little bit of, let me give you $5 million you can live off of because your ancestors arrived in Quebec in 1646 and helped build one of the first cathedrals, which is fact. Jules Trottier. That's a fact. Right? So where's my reciprocity? Well, I'm not asking for it. And I wouldn't ever ask for it. Ever. Kidding me? There is no greater gift in life, ladies and gentlemen, than your ability and health and strength to work your butt off. It's the greatest gift anyone could ever give you, or speaking spiritually, religiously, whatever it may be. It's the greatest gift you could have as a human being. And extend that gift, forward that gift on by helping somebody out, opening a door for somebody, buying somebody a meal that can't provide for themselves. But if you can provide for yourself, and I'm speaking to you people in primarily California, if you're black and you're asking for reciprocity, you should be humiliating yourself, because you're humiliating, in my eyes, you are humiliation. You're disgusting. Don't get me wrong, not that I want to go down that road. But the whole transgender thing, crossing sports, forget about it. You're biologically a male and you convert to being a female, start your own transgender league. Don't you dare compete with a woman that's biologically a woman, or vice versa. That's my opinion. I'm not transgender and I'm not gay, but I'll be called homophobic for saying that. And I don't care. Bring it on. I do not care. That is my opinion. And you, if you agree with it, you're free to express your disagreement. And that's the beauty of America, isn't it? That's the beauty of America. So, lots going on, folks. It's really appalling to me what's happened and what's happening to America. But I commend you for listening to me, because as I extend my knowledge and you embrace it, you're a step ahead of the curve. The deep state was very successful at disguising themselves for many, 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 many years in the United States. 9/11 being an example. But they misplayed. They overplayed their hand, rather, with the COVID thing. And thank goodness to Donald Trump and his alertness. 75 million Americans, that's a lot, are awake to this. So now that you're awake to it, do something about it. And yes, in 2016, that is when I believe 2015 is when I heard Donald Trump talk about running for president. I listened to him at Doral in Miami. And when I was listening to him with my then girlfriend, who's a practicing psychiatrist, no, I was never her patient. Actually, I helped her through her residency at Jackson, UN. We went to 2 different rallies. Yeah, there were protests outside. No, he was not formally a candidate. But did I ever think I'd begin doing the podcast? Frankly, I supported him when I heard him speak, because he was saying he would be independent and self-financed. Well, he later joined the GOP and accepted their money. Does that make him a liar? I don't know. Maybe it just made him smart. Because would he have been able to take down the Clinton machine had he ran independently and self-financed? Probably not. But it didn't change my opinion of him anyway. What I did disagree with was Operation Warp Speed. Red Cross, Switzerland, White Cross, St. Cross. Knights Templar. Conspiracy theology, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's like a record repeating. That's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. Nothing's changed in this country, folks, since 1620 when the Mayflower Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth Rock. Nothing's changed. Same freedoms are being fought. It's the same enemy. So if you ask me, what is the deep state? Well, it's the mechanics that control the Swiss banking. Tentacles, really. That would be the Roman Empire. There's your answer. Obviously, don't drink Bud Light. And, the Anheuser-Busch, great product, of course, but Anheuser-Busch, they are long sold out to InBev, the Belgian Brazilian conglomerate. Well, hence their woke philosophies behind their ads for transgenderisms. And look, I don't care. You want to change your gender makeup? That's up to you. That's your opinion. You want to do that? Go ahead. But don't press that upon children, minors, somebody under 18. No business having a sex change. No business whatsoever. If you're under 18, you really don't have a clue about anything in life, really, in my opinion. I mean, you're so young and impressionable. Keep that stuff out. right? And the gay talk in these classrooms, public classrooms. Look at a book by an author named Charlotte Iserbyt called The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She wrote it in I think it was the early 90s, former Reagan advisor. That'll help open some channels of discussion, I believe, for you. If you do that. And that's going to wrap things for today, folks. Jeff Richfield, try to bring him back on, bring him your way. DM me on Instagram. I will send you a Discussions of Truth trucker hat, a Trottier trucker hat. Yes, I will send it to you. I'll pay for it out of my own pocket. It's my pleasure. They're hot. They're on fire. People love them. Somebody today said they were classy. I literally showed the hat to somebody like 3 days ago, and the remark I got was, "Whoa, those are fire." Yeah, they're really, really cool hats. And I'm going to send you one if you DM me on Instagram. And if you don't want to take it without payment, then donate. Donate to what I'm doing. Okay? And I include, likely I'll include a really cool sticker with your order. I've got some holographic stickers. Got some coasters that came in today. Table coaster, glass coasters. So, folks, that's going to be another discussion of truth. I'm going to wrap it up here with that being said, and definitely just pay it forward. Donate to Kirsten. Donate to her, which she's going to be dealing with the next year. Help her pay her bills, basically. And that is, you can do that through, I think it's Free Kirsten. Not Kristen, Kirsten. 2 I's. At Gifts and Go. So, outro music here for you with Numb. And thanks for tuning in, folks. Until next week, Ian Trottier, Discussions of Truth. Till then, be awesome.